Meanwhile, in Dare County, a state of emergency is in effect as Hurricane Erin approaches. It's in effect for all areas of the county. There's also a mandatory evacuation for Hatteras Island set to begin this morning at 10. Locals must evacuate by 8 a.m. Taking a live look this morning at Myrtle Beach, looking beautiful out there. The rip currents are still dangerous from Hurricane Erin, something to consider as it continues to push northward. Chris, what's the latest on the track?
Latest track is it's still pretty much directly in between the Carolinas and Bermuda. That's the sweet spot. That's what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a big miss of the United States, and we're very happy about that. But as we had just mentioned, the life-threatening rip currents. And overall, we're averaging about a moderate across the Carolina shoreline today. And then I think it's high for pretty much the rest of the week. Now, the Outer Banks have a slightly higher risk for this. It's just because we have a coastal low that's affecting us today. But yeah, this is going to be the biggest deal that we have going forward. And this is one of the more astronomical facts I could ever give you, that the coastal Carolinas weather fatalities, rip currents by far outweighs everything else, where tornado, flood, lightning, wind, tropical deaths combined don't even come close to the amount of rip current deaths we've had over the last 24 years. So this is substantial here. Just always be cautious. I want everyone, if you are doing that last minute beach trip, to keep that mental note that if you start to feel yourself being pulled out, don't panic. Just make sure to swim horizontally along the shoreline. So what we're watching is that the eye wall is redefining itself. So that means Erin's becoming stronger yet again. And the indirect impacts, we already mentioned, the rip currents, wave heights, and beach erosion. That's always going to be a big deal, especially for the Outer Banks, because it does jet out a little bit further. And the closest proximity to North Carolina is going to be really Wednesday to Thursday. So that's really where we're going to have some of the bigger impacts. Here's what we've seen over the last 24 hours, really minimal pressure changes. And the next big update that we're going to get is going to be right around 8 o'clock. But we spiked all the way up to 160 miles per hour, and we've been living about 125, 130. So that's strong Category 3 to borderline Category 4 over the last 24 hours. Here's a look at some hurricane hunters reconnaissance, which, by the way, I've talked to these pilots before, and they actually prefer to go through Category 4 and Category 5 storms compared to a tropical storm because they're actually more predictable, believe it or not. But the most recent update that they had, the 10-second sustained winds is 127 miles per hour. They round that up to 130, and that makes this barely a Category 4. But right now, as we are speaking, look at the most recent wind speed that they just estimated. 138 miles per hour. This is happening right now, folks, by the way. So this updates as they're actually flying through the storm just 30 minutes ago. They're only measuring the tropical storm winds up to about 76. That means that the newest update here right around 8 o'clock means that Erin's going to be back to 140 miles per hour, now a strong Category 4, and it could get even stronger after that. So right now 130, but even though we can see the reconnaissance, it's going to be up to at least about a 135, 140 when all is said and done. And then you can see that things start to weaken. Still Category 3 major hurricane strength as it's off the Carolina coast by hundreds of miles. So good news right in between Bermuda and the Outer Banks. And then eventually it'll start to weaken. Still Category 1 as late as Saturday early in the morning. But we're really lucky that this isn't coming anywhere closer. There's a slight chance it could nudge a little bit further off towards the west, but that just means more rain and some higher waves. So here's the intensity forecast. You can see down to 90 miles per hour by about Saturday. One more stat before we get over to traffic. This is actually the 8th Category 5 storm that we've ever had in August during a hurricane season dating back to 1924. Last year, of course, there were 2 Category 5s, both retired, Merrill and Milton. Well, luckily, Erin is not going to be retired because it does not look to be a major loss of life at this point. But boy, is it going to bring a lot of rain for around Turks and Caicos. It's happening right now for the near term.